So before we take a deep dive into the costumes for several of the Amazons in the upcoming Wonder Woman movie, courtesy of the DC booth at San Diego Comic-Con, I want to start out with this amazing statue of Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. It just really captured my imagination. Not only because I love this frozen in like an action sequence depiction here, like you can just feel the movement there, right? But they really do seem like a team. And that's so important and something that I was very worried about with a female-centric movie, especially in the wake of Ghostbusters when so many guys felt that they were thrown under the bus in the name of girl power. So to see Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, like she still has her foot out a little bit in front of him, so she's still very clearly like the lead, like it's still her movie. He's still not only like her romantic partner, which we know from the comics. We haven't seen anything hinted about that for the movie, but why else would Steve Trevor be there? But still, they seem like partners in battle as well. And also maybe just partners as human beings. Diana is a very caring individual, and she just wants to help humanity from this world war it finds itself embroiled in. And, I think to some degree she would team up with anyone if their heart was in the right place and they could help her. She's also very pragmatic, but if they could help her in battle. He has a firearm. Also, the difference in weapons is very interesting. She's got her sword and shield, and he's like, going to pull an Indiana Jones and just shoot him. But I think it looks fantastic, and I think that to pull this off will be a crucial test for the movie and an inspiration to other films that seek to have strong female leads yet universal appeal. We're going to go into the costumes now, but last point I want to make is that in the movies that the Batman v Superman film that we've seen so far with Gal Gadot, and in statues like this, it's a little bit hard to see some of the details of the costume, as in the cloth elements that are beneath the armor. But that's very realistic as to how armor has actually been worn throughout the centuries. Metal on your skin chafes and is not comfortable, so you need to protect the skin underneath. And the fact that the costume designer for this movie, I brought up her name here, and then I covered it up, Lindy Hemming, she worked that into the costumes that she's developed for all the lead Amazons that you're going to see on display here. And that's an amazing attention to detail. I hope that we get to see at least one Amazon suiting up in Wonder Woman so we can get a true idea that this is armor and it's not just, as in the past, a star-spangled swimsuit that Wonder Woman, for some reason, has decided to wear into battle. One of my favorite cartoons of all time was a strip making fun of the Justice League situation and Wonder Woman saying, if I don't get to wear pants, no one gets to wear pants. But I think they've solved that situation by kind of creating a toga effect with the Amazon clothing. And really, it's like Greco-Roman warriors, and they're really just facilitating movement. That's what we're going to go with. But I think it's great. And this costume designer, as we move forward here, Lindy Hemming, she not only worked on Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, but she also did the Lara Croft films, interestingly enough. So she's costumed strong women before. Although, interestingly enough, while Angelina Jolie is all about her sex appeal, wearing it on her sleeve, I think so far at least, these Amazons just happen to be sexy, but they are warriors first, which is a very important choice. And kudos, there's male writers and producers on this film, but the director is a woman, and the costume designer is a woman, and the production designer is actually a woman from Amelie, and that was a pretty awesomely production design movie. But anyway, let's move forward here. There's Steve Trevor's boring costume. Poor Steve. The one regret I have about this setup of putting him in World War I is that I've loved how the New 52 reimagined Steve Trevor as a modern soldier. Kind of like Rick Flag. Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad New 52 comic, Steve Trevor, more or less, he filled that role with the Justice League of America. Waller's team of heroes. She's busy. She has a team of villains and a team of heroes. I don't think that team's actually still around. But anyway, I liked, do you really need Rick Flag and Steve Trevor? I almost wish that Chris Pine was in both movies and we had to wonder what the explanation was as to why he's no longer with Wonder Woman and what he's doing in current day. So anyway, let's move on. Now, the first thing I wanted to start with is this group shot of the Amazons together. And I really like it because I don't know if these actresses actually are all the same height, You can see them here in this first look from Entertainment Weekly on Themyscira. In the, Wonder Woman doesn't have her costume on, but her go-to costume, but everybody else does. That's like Wonder Woman's like original like training costume, I guess. But anyway, here they all look the same height. And they not only does that give you the feeling of like the Amazons are like a breed of women, right? Like a breed of supermodel women, but also seeing them in armor here together as a group, they really do feel it's like a little bit Game of Thronesy, a little bit Bravehearty, and that's certainly preferable to the commune that's usually depicted in the comics, right? Like only Wonder Woman's really a warrior, and there are a couple other warriors that she hangs out with, but a lot of Amazons just kind of like braid each other's hair and read poetry and skip around, right? And you're like, I don't get it. But a race of like warrior women, I think, is a little bit more compelling on the big screen. So this is and I love, by the way, that DC took the time to craft mannequins that look like the actors portraying the characters. It really helps increase the feeling that that character is standing before you. Oh, it's so amazing. But we're going to go through each of these costumes individually. I'm really, really impressed again with the attention to detail. All right, so first up, we got to go with the Queen Hippolyta, even though I think she's the least interesting. But we have to be respectful of royalty. So anyway, this is Queen Hippolyta, played by Connie Nielsen. Speaking of Greco-Roman times, her big breakthrough role was in Ridley Scott's Gladiator. Yep, that long ago. And Connie Nielsen's career never really went anywhere in particular. And so her casting makes me feel like this is kind of a throwaway role, right? Like Robin Wright clearly was like, I don't want that role. I want to be Antiope. So you're like, clearly that's the superior and meatier role. But anyway, Connie Nielsen is going to be Wonder Woman's mother. And so the big question in the comics has always been, especially as of late, because they've done away with the whole made of clay thing. They're like, that was just a story I told you, like a stork brought you. Like it's the Amazonian equivalent of storks, right? You're made out of clay. Leave me alone. Don't ask such adult questions. So anyway, the question has become, who is Wonder Woman's or who is Hippolyta's baby daddy? Who is the father of Wonder Woman? And sometimes it's Zeus, and sometimes it's Hercules, but largely it's Zeus. So that makes Wonder Woman a Jon Snow type bastard. But anyway, yes, Zeus never put a ring on it because he had so many hands he was holding. But anyway, Hippolyta, I think this costume is, I don't know, it's kind of as lame as Connie Nielsen. No offense to Connie Nielsen. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been so mean to Connie Nielsen, but come on, what a black hole of star power. So anyway, the costume also, you'll notice, has very little armor to it. I also like, by the way, I forgot to mention this, that they all have the headdress on that Wonder Woman wears. And Wonder Woman doesn't seem like, I'm Themyscira's champion. I'm different and special than everyone, special from everyone else. It's like, no, she's kind of in the same league. She's just the one that happened to go to man's land. And everyone, all the Amazons are pretty neat. And I think that's good. I think Wonder Woman isn't about being better than anyone else. So Hippolyta, she's got the headgear. I like that some of the headgear accentuates their cheekbones, right? They're like, this is the Amazonian equivalent of blush, metal blush. But she's got the fur. That's pretty cool. She's got the cloak. Also the Amazonian equivalent, I guess, of shoulder pads. And then here you can get a closer look at her full look. She's got like a snake skin, piece of fabric hanging down in the front, kind of like the Amazonian version of a long dress, right? But she still has the mobility because of the slits for the legs. She has boots just like Wonder Woman, although they're a little bit more ornamental than for combat, because you can see they don't quite strap on like Wonder Woman's do, as you're going to see in more detail momentarily. But then also she does have a sword, though, I guess to maybe knight people and be like, good job. And hers looks like almost like a ram's head, which is interesting. Wonder Woman's is pretty cool. All right, so anyway, this is Hippolyta, and she has a shield too, you can see, which is very interesting. The shield and sword are something that both Hippolyta and Diana use. And yet here we're going to go to Antiope. No sword and shield for her. She's got the Katniss and Hawkeye arrows. People love archers. I don't get the appeal personally, but I've come to learn, don't mess with archers. Respect the archer. And so Robin Wright's probably like, this is going to be awesome. Move over, everybody. Make room for me. I'm going to be really cool. But the thing that's most interesting to me about that is that the arrow is a long-distance weapon. So that means Hippolyta does not directly engage her opponents, perhaps not only on the battlefield, but strategically as well. So watch out for her. she's a snake in the grass. As is Claire Underwood, the role that, of course, put Robin Wright in the position to be cast in Wonder Woman, the movie. I think she's going to be amazing. The one thing I don't like about Antiope's headpiece is that it means we won't get to see Robin Wright's glorious short hairstyle, which is I've just come to love so much after watching House of Cards. And I think Robin Wright just rocks it. That's a hard hairstyle to rock. So I wish that we could see more of it. The only bad thing about, and also they've said in Entertainment Weekly, as you might recall, that these are the 3 women who've raised Diana. These are her parents. But the problem is that in the comics, this role was always filled by Philippus, who was a black Amazon. So that person's been crucial in many tellings of the Wonder Woman origin is to training Wonder Woman in battle. So to take that character away and to make it a white woman is like the one thing where you're like, man, like fingers crossed that doesn't become a thing, because we want to see this movie succeed. But you know, the diversity of the Amazons has been something that's been pushed, especially as of late, and I'm surprised that the movie would not capitalize on that, or would miss that beat, I guess you could say. But Robin Wright's amazing. So she has the most armor intense costume of everyone. You can see she uses, like, she's dyed her fabric straps or leather straps red to match, and you can see that she has not only underneath her gauntlets but also under her boots. She has that as well, and hers go up actually pretty high, higher than Wonder Woman's. You'll notice that if she does get engaged in close combat, she has these 2 blades tucked in her belt, and right for you to see them too. She's like, yeah, I'll stab you. I'm telling you that right now. It's not going to be a surprise, because it's gonna be a surprise how fast it is. And I'm like, I can't wait to see Robin Wright do all this. I'm amazed at all these Wonder Womans, all these Amazons. Oh, they all are kind of Wonder Womans, but I'm amazed all these Amazons fight in wedge heels. That's amazing. But you know, it looks better. It looks better on film. And Black Widow does the same thing. But you'll notice when they do the action sequences, they usually have the stunt doubles and the actors switch to flats. It's always fun to spot the heel to flat changes. So anyway, very cool. Let's move to Wonder Woman, who looks spectacular. She's got this crazy fur coat on. I like it because it reminds me of every Viking movie I've ever seen, right? Like, it drags all over the floor, just like Ben Mendelsohn's villain in Star Wars. These people don't care about getting their clothes dirty. Hers is black, though, so she's not as badass as Ben Mendelsohn's character, who wears a white cape in the dirt. But you see not only the leather straps on her hands, and she's kind of got the equivalent of the thumb hole sleeves that I like so much, so even cooler. But you can see here, kind of draping around her leg, she's got almost like knee highs underneath her boots there that are strapped on. And that's so cool because it's just so utilitarian. It just makes total sense. Also, you can see that the skirt thing looks very much like armor, or not armor, but, you know, like Roman and Greek clothing to be worn with armor. And she just looks really great. She looks like a warrior. She looks like the female equivalent of someone like Jon Snow, and that's really important. And I think taking their cues from Game of Thrones is very smart, because for most people, when it comes to medieval, costumes, that's their frame of reference right now. Now, as for her weapons, we've seen the shield before, and we've seen the sword before, but we get a nice shot of it here, being able to see that it's like 2 dragons or something, or snakes coming up around the blade, and then their tails entwine around it to form the handle, and then they kind of separate there at the end. It's just really nice. It's a very cool look. Maybe she'll tell Steve Trevor a story about it around a fire, and it'll lead to an intimate romantic moment. We'll see. I love it. I couldn't feel better about this Wonder Woman movie. Here's hoping we get a first look at it on Saturday. All right, thank you for going over these costumes with me. Share your thoughts about them down below, and also what you think of the Wonder Woman Steve Trevor dynamic shown in that statue. All right, and also, guys, how do you feel about this movie? Why do you feel more invited and part of the party here than you did with Ghostbusters? I mean, the answer I know is kind of obvious, but I'd be looking for some more nuanced, level-headed answers than the ones we've been having over the Ghostbusters discussion. All right, thank you, and you can check out some more Comic-Con coverage right now.